Hello guys, welcome back. Now, you know what I'm looking at, but it's not going to be only this today. I wanted to check the tier list, what's happening in 2.2, overall, what CN is thinking, what Global is thinking about CN, what Global is thinking about Global, what every character is pretty much being ranked at. It has been a while since 2.2 came out. Obviously, there's no Lopera, so for now, for Lopera specifically, we don't know yet because she's not out, obviously. But, you know, for everything else, considering Anjonala is a limited character, that is way more important to know where she is, where she gets ranked at by everybody. So I prepared a couple of tier lists coming from different places. This one is going to be the recently updated, literally today. I don't know, it was a cool coincidence because I was about to do it without the Anjonala update on Pridwin, but thank God it got updated. And we're also gonna have a reverse 99 Discord tier list, and I'm gonna have a little bit of a couple of hot takes here and there in that tier list, because I think it's a little bit biased. But it doesn't really change much when it comes to overall understanding or overall view of like the roster of the characters. It doesn't matter if a character is rank 1 or rank 2 or rank 3 or rank 4. Oh, it should have been 7th. Oh, why is he 8th, right? It doesn't matter for like a 0.1 difference. But it's I think it's a little biased, but it doesn't matter for that reason. And then I fetched the only, but there's a couple of, but this one was the only proper tier list made from Bilibili, from some guy that I don't know because, you know, Chinese name, and it was the one with the most views, had 115,000 views, and it was the only one that was updated to 2.2. So now that we're done with the clarifications, let's start with Pridwin, obviously. Now the changelog here, as you can see, a couple of additions for 2.2 was Anjonala, Mr. Duncan, and White Rum. White Rum is the 3-star character, I believe. I don't know if it's a 3-star or 4. So it's a 4-star. It's a 4-star unit. It's a sub carry. While Ram has access to very consistent follow-up attacks, self-buffing, and what looks to be our first true mass days with a 100% resistance penetration at P4. Works great with 37 or in CC teams because of the follow-ups, right? And then Mr. Duncan, which is a surprisingly decent damage dealer. Is a 5-star, so you know it's not like a crazy, but he has a similar function to Jay. Duncan provides a slew of counters with additional effects based on his bullet, I need more bullets, while accumulating ceremonious unleash big ultimate. Unfortunately, he has to compete with absolute damage monster in the higher ranks, of course, so it's gonna be on AAA, right? But Lalo was going to be at least pretty decent for ranking for a 5-star. And then we have obviously the queen that I want to remind everybody that I got in one singular temple. The free one from the banner, blessed free-to-play god account on CN. Anyway, so those are the change logs and why. Right now, I'm not gonna go check why the rating, the fucking explaining and the about the tier list and stuff like that. At this point, you guys should know how this works, and there it is. We're gonna check this one, then we're gonna check the server one, then we're gonna check CN. So here, to be honest, nothing much to say. If anything, I am a fucking 6 fanboy. So I would put 6 everywhere, right? So personally, for me personally, I put 6 in S plus every time. So this in overall CN, I still think 6 has a crazy for free, just existing value when you get him in the team. I would say something at this point. The only thing that I want to say about 6 that I don't like at this point, most of the time his ultimate is kind of whatever. It's supposed to deal a lot of damage, and sometimes it does. But I have a feeling that for a character at this point, after using me for so long, I picked him up because I knew he was strong in CN. When he came in global, I instantly picked him up. In the legendary insane 1.4 patch, where every character was insane and very future proof, as you can see. But the way 6 works, like it feels like you shouldn't have a ultimate that does damage. I feel like they should have swapped 37 ult with 6 ult. 37 just drop stuff from the sky and kill them, and 6 just buff everybody, right? It would be the best, right? So but Isolde still up as a support here. You have like a lot of value from Isolde, and as we said multiple times before, me and other content creators, we said before that Isolde doesn't have to play on burn. Doesn't have to play on burn team, because she has the pre-ignition stack that she's going to apply to your ally. You're going to apply burn without even thinking about it. It's going to have some burning there, even if you don't have anyone to utilize this burn. Doesn't matter, you can still put Isolde. Tons of debuffs, tons of value for the enemy, for the allies, and debuffs on the enemies. Easy, right? Easy choice. Now we go Anjonala. For those of you that don't know, Anjonala is extremely powerful at the moment. Her role is to literally help the carry. So it's like the sub carry. So you use Anjonala in conjunction with someone that you want to buff. She's going to enter in a contract with this person and with this character, depending on their flatters. She's going to gain, and she's going to give the ally both of the characters, her and the contracted character, buffs. She's going to have multiple mechanics that I'm not going to go through because the video is going to be like 20 million minutes. So she's very powerful. She does a lot of extra attacks. She does a lot of damage for free just by channeling once, and then by playing the character, you do a double ultimate, which is your ultimate plus the ultimate of the character that you contract with, because the character that you have a contract doesn't have the Moxie generation. Everything goes to Anjonala, which has 12 Moxie and needs 8 Moxie to ult. But when you ult, that is going to be a double ultimate. You're going to do the contracted character ultimate and your ultimate, right? And then you're going to do, she has quite a big amount of follow-up attacks that also have a different ways of triggering. So you can choose which one you want to do. If you want to do a bigger one, if you want to do a lower one. But we'll get into, if you want to know more about Anjonala, I made a video dedicated to her, reading on the first kit coming on Discord. But we're not talking about Anjonala all day today. We're just checking out. I agree with this ranking here. Makes perfect sense to me, to be honest. Now, Winsong is the character that I am more surprised about. I knew she was way stronger than Chinense, but I thought at the time I thought she was not as valuable as Lucy. But apparently, her ultimate is just so cracked. It's just so cracked. So transcendental. Is that even a word? She transcends the fucking logic of the game and destroys everything if you set it up good enough and if you buffer nicely enough. This becomes like an absolute monster. And I agree that this character is good, but also Winsong has a big fan base. A lot of people, there is a lot of glazers, a lot of Winsong glazer. I am a Lucy glazer, but there's a lot of Winsong glazers. Holy fuck, right? We'll see more of that later. But yeah, I mean, the S plus makes sense. Lucy, great, insane damage. The main thing about Lucy is that after you do the ultimate, you ignore the Afflatus's logic. So you just act like you are an advantage, even though you're not technically. But the ult forces it, so that's kind of insane. Also, she has a lot of extra follow-up attacks when someone dies, so if you at least 2 times per turn. So you if two mini monsters are dying, you know that you're gonna deal so much damage, especially after the ult. Now, another surprising character that I still think it's a luxury pull, but it is growing on me. The more I know the character, the more I study the character. You know, I will be doing the guide for Kagania before the character comes out. I am testing her at the moment. I recently acquired her, and I am checking. Acquired her in the sense that I made her I3. So now she's playable. It took me a while. Now she's playable, and I am starting to play with Kagania, check the feeling, how she feels, how she plays, different teams, etc., stuff like that. So give me a little bit, and then I will start doing the guide. But Kagania is really strong, and as you can see here, is going to be in S+ when it comes to overall, and then in standard she drops a little bit because you don't really need Kagania. The standard, which is not raid included, this is basically a column, a way of classifying the characters that it's more. That reflects more which character is an essential one and which character is a luxury one. For example, as you can see, 6, Getian, Lorelei. I would put 6 in S+. I don't know. I'm kind of biased, but you know me. Kagania drops from S+ to S, and I would think it's because it's a luxury character. She gets 50% damage taken. She takes 50% of the global damage to her. She builds empathy, and then she explodes the empathy to do giga damage, Genesis damage, or she auto heals based on the empathy, or she can also buff based on the empathy. You know, so it's a good character. So it depends on what you need, but you know, I understand overall Kagania is very much used on current meta, but you know, also Tooth Fairy. I think it's time to kind of drop Tooth Fairy to S. But she's still pretty good. Maybe in between S+ and S at this point. You know why she's S+? Because once where Vila is occupied is BC, and you need another healer, then Tooth Fairy becomes a must because you're not gonna use Yenisei if you have Tooth Fairy. That's the logic. You could, you know, it makes sense to use Yenisei instead of Tooth Fairy in certain scenarios, but Tooth Fairy has such a big healing blast, and the ultimate removes cleanses, so you know, it's pretty good. Also, the other characters, I think they're pretty fair. I'm still like confused about Tuesday. Not of the ranking about Tuesday, but I'm confused about what are we doing with this character. When is it gonna be set in stone? Water team is how the ship what the fuck? Like, what are we doing with Tuesday? Are we eventually doing a crazy amount of debuff team? Are we gonna do like a lot of dot team, giga dot team? Tuesday Kagania? Are we doing that? But we need more characters. I am kind of excited about Tuesday. I might pick her up in global just because I like Dot in general, even though she doesn't really play too much with Jessica, as everybody thought, me included, but that's not the case. The other characters, I think they're pretty fine. I am kind of surprised about Argus. I admit I didn't really give Argus a chance too much because, you know, in CN, I need to be careful on what I pull. And because I'm free to play, right? So I wanted to pick up Argus, and then Anjonala was revealed. She was a limited. It was like, what the fuck? Okay, then I'm not gonna pull, right? So I have a limited experience with Argus, but every time I read their kit, it does sound kind of interesting, right? You have this extra attack every time before your normal cards apply. She's gonna blast, and you have this infinitely stacking debuff that is going to make everybody crit and take more damage. You know, there is a lot of potential, and she also gets their card incantation up. She gets empowered incantation. I don't remember when. I think it's after just an attack. She has a card that, well, let's see. She has a card that gives her empowered incantation. It's this one. Reality damage grants the caster empowered incantation 1, 2 or 2, lasting for more if you do level 3, you know. But yeah, also, yeah, you saw a little bit of that. Now, The rest of the character, I feel they're pretty fair here. Semmel wise, she is down here, I think, because it's not really used that much. But that said, it's in a special scenario, in a special situation, makes more sense. And keep in mind, I need to say it every time we check the tier lists. These characters getting pushed down doesn't mean that they are not good. It means that there is a better version of it. But if you don't have that better version, then that character stays on S+ for you, right? So the content doesn't get too hard. It's the characters that get too strong. So when you have Anjonala as a support, are you going to use Regulus? No. If you have Anjonala in your account, you pulled and you got her, right? No, obviously not, right? Are you going to use 37 instead of Anjonala? Are you going to use 37 instead of Tuesday or Argus? No, in certain scenarios, right? So that's why some characters are pushed down, is because of other characters existing. Like Shamaine, you're not going to use Shamaine if you have 6, or if you have anybody else, right? If you have Argus as well, right? So, you know, or Mercuria, you're not gonna, or Getian, you're not gonna use Shamaine. I feel like the only reason why Shamaine is down here, because I was thinking like nobody really has a global debuff, right? But the problem is that you need to play his cards a lot. You're going to flood your hand with your cards. So, you know, that's probably why it gets pushed this low. Otherwise, it would be at least A+ in my opinion. Now, let me quickly touch about Lorelei. You guys were wrong. See, absolute cinema. You guys in the comments talking about me not knowing what the fucking Stardock is. I didn't know. Biologically, you know what the Stardock is? Your hand. Not the cards at the top, not the 3 sockets, is your hand. Like I thought it was, like I said it was, and I was right, because logically it makes sense. If you go check Lorelei kit, especially in I1, it says that at the start of the round, triggers one effect for 1 round based on the most common type of incantation on the spell dock. How could she do this if you need to fill the Stardock first, right? The Stardock starts... If let's assume it was the 3 cards, right? Let's assume it was these 3 cards. How would she know which card is more common if I didn't put them in yet? And I need to get this buff at the start of the round. So the Stardock is your hand. I know it's weird, but you know, cinema. I was right. But so all of you in the comments that would say, "Look, the Stardock is the trigger." It's not. It's not. That said, Lorelei, giga surprise. I always slept on Lorelei because on CN I didn't do my roguelike on CN because I didn't want to waste it, like clicking randomly. I thought it was going to ruin my fun, and I was right. So now that I got her in global, she's pretty good. And she deserves to be here, to be honest. She does a lot. She gives a weakness debuff as well, which is kind of rare nowadays. So, you know, pretty good character, free to play, easy value. Now, this overall, I think the Pridwin tier list is the closest one that we have to reality. I think it's the most fair one. I think it's the most balanced one if you compare everything. So, you know, also, by the way, Ezra is here because of Hydra. I feel like we should have... I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I don't think it makes sense. It would be too convoluted, but I feel like we should have like an asterisk or something. You hover over it, and it's gonna say like, only for Hydra, right? Because, I don't know, Ezra for raids in general, I don't know, maybe it's not like the craziest character. I don't know about S, right? I would put him like an A+ outside of Hydra. But sure, it's a good character, it can help, so sure. But yeah, I would put like a caveat or something. Now we have now we move on really quickly. I just want to show you the others, right? So this is what Pridwin thinks. But what does a reverse 1999 global Discord server, which is a mix between people think they're playing in CN and people playing in global, and they mix together, and here it is. Now, as you can see from this, it is a little bit biased, because why is Winsong 9.8 with the same rates as Lucy, and Lucy's 9.7, 0.1, really? And it doesn't even say the reasoning of the ranking. So we are taking this with a grain of salt. Also, if you go to welcome, it's gonna say what happened recently, September 20, 2024, Aaron Anjonala, Mr. Duncan, but, you know, it doesn't really explain anything. Tier list. This will be curated via general consensus and the community itself. Every mechanics will be displayed, having their niche explained, their best use. You know what you guys should do? You should say why they are not first, every character, right? Besides the first one. Like, why is Lucy there, right? Why is Kakania here? I feel like there is a giga bias at the moment. Not giga, maybe there's a decent bias on Winsong and on Kakania. Kakania is made to look like it's some must. Oh my god, I need to pull Kakania. I cannot function without Kakania. She is really good, don't get me wrong. I just think that she is a little more niche, a little more special of a pull, a little more luxury of a pull. Luxurious of a pull compared to other characters, right? If you are saving as free to play, what are you gonna pull, Kakania or Anjonala? What are you gonna pull, Anjonala or Kakania? And how is Anjonala 9.3? Hello, raid 8. I don't know. I find it kind of weird. Also, we only have played Anjonala with a couple of raids before. There's no much data on the raids. I would maybe wait on the raids and maybe they'll change it. You know, maybe they'll change it. But this character is insane, Anjo. Right? So compared to Kakania, which is good, but you know, like lower than Kakania, that's kind of crazy, right? I would put Kakania maybe after Vila, above Chunyanse, only because Chunyanse now is not the only crazy DPS that we have in the game with Lucy and Winsong. Also, Winsong doesn't matter; she can be first, right? But I would put the same characters on the same rankings, in my opinion. Maybe not on raid, obviously, because, you know, Winsong is kind of cheating. You collect your Pokemon cards until you have 50,000, and then you do one ultimate and everything explodes on round 15. But Lucy is more has more variety. You can pull Lucy everywhere, and she's going to force herself into everybody, right? So after you do the ult. So, you know what I mean? They're kind of close. One is excelling in something, and one is excelling in another thing, but they have the same rating. So why is Lucy with 9.7? Nobody knows. A little bias there. We have Vila here. Makes sense. I agree with this. A lot of people are shitting on Mercuria for zero reason. Oh my god, her special buff, her ultimate buff that increases the fake increases the star incantation is for like 2 rounds. Oh my god, only lasts for 2 rounds. Oh my god, I need to pick up P5 to make it last 1 more round, otherwise she's not playable. She is fucking playable, what do you mean? She's fine enough. What are you trying to do? Is everyone trying to min-max the fuck out of everything? And it's like if they're losing 1 round on some uptime, everything is fucking up and now the character is worth nothing. I believe it's a little bit too harsh in my opinion. Mercuria is pretty good and can help a lot, especially with Marcus. Even outside of Marcus, having Mercuria laying around in when you need her, I think is pretty good. If you have other characters that you might want to use, they're busy in Limbo or something, then yeah, Mercuria is a fine addition. Argus, okay. Tooth Fairy is still here, kind of a Giga Chat move, to be honest, and they don't really like Isolde too much. I mean, I understand, right? This is top 10. This is literally the top, the rank 10 Isolde. They have Marcus, 6. Hello, okay. Maybe I'm biased. What in the fuck are you saying? Limbo 8. Utu 8. What are you saying? What is this ranking? Why is this 8? Hello? Rogue 7? 7 Rogue? Why? Why? What do you mean Rogue 7? What do you mean Rogue 7? What the fuck is this? What is this? What's this travesty? 6 on fucking rank like 13 or something? This is, I feel like this is kind of cringe, to be honest. I don't know how people are not grasping the power of 6. You guys, you know what you guys should do? Remove 6. Don't play 6. And see the difference when you bring 6 in. The moment when you stop dying, the moment when everybody's full HP, the moment when everybody is buffed the fuck out the wazoo, then you realize what you're saying. That it's a kind of blasphemy. My god 6, my king 6. Okay, and then there's Lorelei, Joe, Jessica above Spadodia. Kind of weird. Jessica fell off really fucking hard, considering we have Marcus now. I don't know. Well, Spadodia is kind of low. Joe above Spadodia, I don't agree. That's kind of weird. Joe above Spadodia is weird because Joe is kind of a gimmick character. Is he even a DPS? No. So unless you play them together, which is kind of redundant at that point. If you're playing Spadodia with Isolde and then you put someone else in, you can put who the fuck you want. You can put Mercuria in, you can put Anjonala in, and you're going to blast. You're going to put Kakane if you want, if you really like this Kakane fucking goddess. But yeah, Joe and I don't know. You could, but the fact that burn caps at 30 kind of fucks everything up. In my opinion, if they uncap burn, then this would work and it would be crazy, right? Joe Mercuria, Joe Spadodia is all the fucking, I don't know, Villa or some shit. You know, like that's kind of crazy, right? At that point, but it's not the case. It's not possible. So it's kind of redundant, and you should choose one. I don't think Joe is a DPS too much compared to Spadodia. Maybe Spadodia falls off a little bit if you don't have many portraits, right? That could be the reason why. But I don't know. I feel like she's still pretty strong. At least stronger than Joe. I feel like Joe is very gimmicky. Like you need to have the right encounter that everybody's attacking you multiple times and it's not dealing too much damage to you. You kind of have to babysit Joe, otherwise he suicides. So he kills himself gradually because he consumes HP every time. So I don't know. It could be used, obviously, but you know, Limbo 9. It depends on the Limbo, to be honest. If there is a Limbo without mini characters, without like normal mobs that attack you constantly, do a lot of attack to you, that's kind of no doing nothing there. Then Joe, you know. But yeah, I don't know. There is a kind of a scuffed rankings here, but it is what it is. Let's move on now to the final one, the CN one. This CN guy made this tier list. I disagree on Joe, for example, but everything else pretty based, to be honest. This is not the ranking here. T0 is not sorted. It's just T0 characters, and red means that they are P0, and yellow means P5. So Yenisei P5, it's T1, for example. Lorelei, he doesn't like Lorelei at all, right? He really doesn't like Lorelei. I understand, to be honest. Maybe not T2. I would put it in T1 because of the way she works, the free buffs that you don't have to do anything to get. She does have a buff card as well. She has weakness application. She does a little bit of damage. I guess T1 could be good, but I do understand why she's in T2. I do understand why. I don't necessarily completely agree, but I understand why. Same thing for other old characters. Maybe they're more niche, right? And you go like, okay, maybe I wouldn't use Lorelei if I have everyone else, right? You need to keep in mind that some CN tier lists, especially maybe this one as well, it's talking in a way, like in a scenario when you have every character on screen. If you have every character on screen, you will never find yourself picking up Yenisei, or would never find yourself picking up choosing Lorelei over someone else. Like, are you going to choose Lorelei or are you going to choose Anjonala, you know? It's becoming kind of crazy. I also agree Mercurian being T0, bit too high. A bit too high. FP0, a bit too high. FP5, then she's T0. Because she's T0 in P5, she gets one more round, as I said before, on an ultimate. So you're going to have this incantation start up on every card for one extra turn, which is pretty good. But even if you don't have that, it's gonna be good as well, I feel like. But it's not a T0 good, you know? So this character up here, I perfectly agree. Maybe Kakania lower on T05 because it was a fucking fly. It was a mosquito actually. But yeah. Still luxury character. Would you use Kakania? Would you pull for Kakania instead of Anjo? No, right? This is the order. That is the problem. The problem is that we gotta wait a little bit. But you do have enough time to pick up both. So if you have both, then Pog, I guess. But Kakania is, and it will always be, a luxury pool. I will always tell you that it's a luxury pool. You don't need Kakania to succeed in the game. However, having Kakania is big quality of life. It's a breath of fresh air when it comes to survivability. You're gonna find yourself not dying anymore if you keep Kakania healed, or if she can heal herself enough, depending on the encounter, obviously. It's going to feel like you never felt before. So, you know, I do think there is a little bit of value in it, but T0, I don't know about T0. The other characters, I think they're pretty fair to be here. Argus, that's fine. Jay, a little bit too high in my opinion. Maybe the guy likes Burn a lot, or maybe he just replaced Patadia with Jay, I guess. Maybe in terms of raw damage when it comes to a perfect scenario for Joe. In that case, he is stronger than Spatadia. I do think Spatadia is a little clunky when it comes to pre-igniting yourself and stuff. Like, you do want to have the exact amount of burn. You want to have 15 plus. You want to have you want to buff yourself so you get more stuff. You know, with the correct team, you should be able to do well anyway. But you know what I mean. That said, I don't think there's anything insane that I can see in this tier list. There's a little bit of lower characters than normal. Maybe some people would disagree on Semmelweis, but I do think she's niche enough to not be above T1 in my opinion. That said, I think that's it. Giga long video, ultra omega tier list review here. Overall, the moral of the story is that the characters that are the craziest are always gonna be on top, and you can rest assured that the top 10 of every character is gonna be roughly the same. And if it is not the same for certain characters, they're not dropping too hard. So if you like them and you wanna pull them and go against everybody everybody telling you that you shouldn't, you're still based, right? You don't have to worry about me or anybody else telling you that this character is not as good as this other character. If you like your character, your wife or your husbando, whatever, pull them. They're not bad anyway, right? What are they gonna do? They're gonna be S instead of S+? Oh my god, I can play the game. Of course you can. So pull whoever you want, but now you have a clear understanding, hopefully. Everybody is sort of agreeing on who the top dogs are at the moment. Now you adjust your pulls or not, right? Depend on what you want to do. Or maybe you magically gonna have your wife be Anjonala, right? But guys, it's not because she's good. I always liked her, right? You can pull that off as well, right? Oh, Lucy, but I always liked Lucy. Even if she was healing the enemy, it would pull her. Now, coincidentally, she's the strongest one of the strongest DPSs in the game. That's not my fault, right? Always liked Winsong, right? You can do that, right? You can do that. That's gonna work. That said, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with any of these rankings? Did you saw anything crazy you want to lament about? Lament in the comments. Go do so in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you want to see it live, come to twitch.tv/Jakazin. Follow the stream, follow the channel, leave a like, whatever you want to do, and see you next time.